What is up, everybody? We are rolling audio here today on a big episode of the Hotter Show, okay? Probably the biggest episode we've ever had. Well, not probably. It is the biggest episode we've ever had. And that is because we have hit our first milestone together, guys. You and me, we did it. We hit episode number 10, which is a big deal. I mean, come on, let's be honest here. I didn't know how this whole thing was going to turn out, and the support has been awesome. I'm so happy for it. Every single time someone messages me or comments that they enjoy the show, it's awesome. It really is awesome, and I could not have done this without you guys. Getting to this episode was a bit of a long time coming in the sense of it was a lot of work. I didn't know how much work went into podcasting when I started. I'm not going to lie. The editing and all that kind of thing. I mean, I don't edit a lot out. I told you guys this is going to be a live show on the very first episode, and I wasn't kidding around. This is pretty much as live show as it gets. The only thing I ever edit out are little nuances, things that are just annoying. So it's been a labor of love, and it's something that I have thoroughly enjoyed doing every step of the way. The support has been very steady as far as on SoundCloud. I'm averaging anywhere from about 10 to 20 views on average for each track that I put up, which is awesome. I'm so happy with that. Like I said, I figured I might get 3 or 4 plays per episode, so the fact that I'm getting even over 10 is ecstatic. The first episode 1, has over 100 plays right now, which is so awesome. The fact that that was only, a month ago? About a month ago? Just over a month ago. And I'm at 100 plays. That's sick. I'm at over 300 plays in total for all of my tracks I have up, and I'm thrilled about that. That is awesome. The support I've gathered on social media, especially on Twitter, had a lot of new followers on Twitter and that is so awesome. I'm ecstatic. If you guys can't tell, I'm just, I'm really happy with the way things are going, and your guys' continued support is so much appreciative. I appreciate every single one of you who clicks that play button and who tunes into this podcast 2 times a week. I know for a little while there, I was posting quite a bit. That's kind of going to be slowing down a little bit. I'm going to be posting just 2 episodes a week now, no more of that 3 episodes every single week, because I know that's a lot. I know a lot of people have messaged me saying that they are a little behind in the podcast. So hopefully keeping it at 2 episodes a week will be enough for those people to catch up, and something that is good for the people who want to catch up and who maybe don't always have access to a computer or the internet. I am making all 10 episodes, including this one, and all of them from here on out, download accessible right from SoundCloud. So what that means, you can go on SoundCloud on your computer, and you can download them either directly on your computer, you can download them and put them on your iPod, you can put them on your phone, pretty much anything. I believe they download in the format that they are uploaded on, and all of my podcasts are uploaded in MP3 format. So MP3 format pretty much works for everything. Hopefully you guys will dig that. Hopefully that is a good way for me to help with you guys kind of catching up a little bit for those people who have requested that. I actually had a couple people ask me if I could just send them the tracks directly, so this is for you guys that did ask. Doing an episode like this, which is strictly a kind of a milestone episode, I was going to skip over it and just kind of not make even remotely any kind of a deal over it. It's only 10 episodes, who cares? But then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm a pretty big person when it comes to milestones. You know, first 100 likes on Facebook or whatever, or first month anniversary, first year anniversary, stuff like that. Like I'm big into that kind of thing. I don't know why I like milestones. So I figured I would make a big deal out of this because I cannot believe I've done 10 of these already. It's crazy to think how quickly all this has gone, and how starting off with the way I did with that intro episode, and then having the 2 Gigs Music episodes that both did really well as well. It was awesome. It's really hard to think of out of all the 9 or 10 I've done, I guess technically 10 because I did do that 7.5 episode. Out of all 10 of the tracks I've done, including this one, which one is my favorite? I probably am going to have to go with the Gigs Music episodes, which I kind of count them as one, even though they're two separate ones. And that is because it was so fun to tell that story. And so many people enjoyed it as well, which is awesome. Another one that I really did enjoy making. It's not like I enjoy making all my podcasts, okay? All of them are fun for me to make, but one that was really a lot of fun for me to make was actually episode 6, the top 10 favorite bands of all times, and then my favorite album from each band and so forth. That was a really fun episode. A lot of people really dug the top 10 idea. It is definitely something I will be doing on the regular as far as top 10s and that kind of thing. So, just real quick, I want to kind of give a shout out, thank you to a few people who really helped make this possible and who have been super supportive. The guys from Outshined, Brandon, Braden, and Dylan, you guys are awesome. You guys have been awesome and so supportive, letting me use Why as the intro track for the podcast has been awesome. A lot of people have said they've really dug the track as well, so hopefully maybe that gets you guys some new fans. That was kind of my hope when I set out to do this. You can guarantee that at some point I will have the guys from Outshined on the podcast. I'll just type it right now. Brandon Hastings, the vocalist, guitarist extraordinaire, and former part-time of Gigs Music, he is going to be on the podcast. I have him lined up for an interview actually this week at some point, hopefully. Well, I call them interviews. They're not interviews, okay? They're hangouts. I don't interview. So that will be really fun. You guys can look forward to that, especially if you're fans of Outshined. And I'm sure, like I said, Braden and Dylan will be on as well at some point. The three of those guys just crack me up, so I'll have them on at some point for sure. A big thank you to those guys again. I have to thank all of my family. You are all amazing. My mom, my dad, my grandma, my uncles, aunts, cousins, sister, everybody. I have to give a big special thank you to my Uncle Gary, who kind of randomly sent me the awesome, I call it a logo that you see on my Facebook profile, my Twitter profile, my Instagram profile. Each track that I have that has a picture has it as well. It's such an awesome picture that he just kind of randomly did for me. Awesome. I still cannot express enough gratitude for him for that. Thank you, Uncle Gary. That is so awesome that you did that for me. And of course, being cool with, me wanting a couple things changed and helping me out with sizing and that for the Facebook and all that. Like, thank you so much again. That's so awesome. I am so appreciative of it. And all my family who listens to this podcast regularly, I love you guys. I haven't really seen my family a whole lot in the last probably month or so since I've started this really, but thank you guys so much. I know that a few of you listen in. I can tell by I get stats on SoundCloud because I'm a pro user now, so I can see where it's viewed and stuff. So I know for sure that I have family in Nova Scotia that listen into the podcast regularly. So thank you so much. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys so much for doing that. Hopefully I will get a chance to come up and see you guys soon. I miss you guys. I wish I could just get on a plane and fly up there right now, but unfortunately that is not an option at the moment. But hopefully everything is going good up there. Again, I love you guys, and I hopefully will see you soon. To all of my friends who have been checking out the podcast, who have messaged me and who have shared it, there's tons of you to thank. I've thanked you guys all personally, but I just wanted to say again, thank you guys so much. You know who you all are. Any of you guys who have given me any kind of feedback, it's greatly appreciated. I've hoped that as these podcasts have gone on, things have gotten better as far as the format and me rambling and all those kind of things. I have to give a big thank you to Rob, actually, the former owner of Gigs Music, my old boss, and that is because he inadvertently helped in a big way with this podcast. And by that, I mean he gave me this microphone right here, this microphone that I am currently using, this windscreen I'm currently using, this cable, this mic stand, pretty much everything I use for this show, other than the phone, he gave me. Just because he's an awesome guy. And I guess technically the phone I have, I did buy with money I got from gigs. So technically you could say he got me the phone too, because he paid me. So I have to give a big thank you to him for that, because without his generosity, I don't know, when I had the random impulse to record the first episode of the podcast, I wouldn't have been able to do it if this stuff wasn't here, and I may not have done it. You never know. I have to give a big, big thank you to my good friends, Mr. Brandon Bowden and Mr. Ryan Wood, for helping me out with the predictions episode for Fastlane, which is the first one I did. I was a little nervous to do the first wrestling pay-per-view related podcast by myself, so they were awesome enough to be on it with me. They will definitely be on the podcast again. I actually, a little bit of unheard news here, I actually have a podcast already recorded with both of those guys. The way I'm going to do the Hangout podcasts, and that is basically anytime I am with somebody who I want to have on the podcast, if we have a chance to record one, I'm going to. That's kind of how I'm going to do it. If there's anything time sensitive that's on the podcast, obviously I'll try and release it as quickly as possible, but there is a lot of work that goes into editing and stuff, so you can definitely look forward to that. The first Hangout podcast I'm going to do is definitely going to be released very, very soon. It's going to be with Brandon Bowden. We're going to be talking about all kinds of bullshit. You guys will definitely want to tune in for that. I think it's a great episode. I've re-listened to it probably 3 times, 4 times myself. And I try not to be a mark for myself when re-listen to my podcast. So the fact that I actually wanted to re-listen to Brandon and I's podcast, that must mean it's good, because I don't usually re-listen to my podcast a lot. And Ryan's episode still needs some editing and stuff, so it won't be out quite as soon as Brandon's will be, but you can guarantee it will be out at some point. And like I said, Brandon Hastings also I have him quote unquote scheduled for a Hangout podcast very soon. So there's 3 right there, 3 podcasts you guys can look forward to, because I think the Hangout podcasts are going to be awesome. And there are so many more people who want to be on them. So last but not least, I have to thank someone who has done probably the most for this podcast, who hasn't really been on it, or who has been really done anything as far as recording or editing or anything like that. Brandon has helped me big time with editing and things like that, and I really appreciate that. But the person I have to thank is my wonderful girlfriend, Sam, because she has been kind of my, what's the best way to put this? My soundboard almost, as far as if I have a podcast and I'm not sure if it's good or not, I'll run it by her. And she will always give me honest feedback. So you can pretty much guarantee a lot of podcasts you guys hear, she's at least heard bits and pieces of it. And if she thinks it's good, I know it's good, because she has a great taste in stuff. I mean, come on, she's dating me. Let's be honest. So I have to thank her big time. Just, she inspires me. So I have to thank her, because if I hadn't have inspiration, I wouldn't be doing this. So she's been nothing but encouraging. Everyone has been nothing but encouraging. So again, thank you to all my family and friends, all the people I noted, and thank you for listening in and hitting that play button. I appreciate you so, so very much for doing that. Where to from here? Well, from here, you can guarantee that we're going to have more of TJ's top 10s, which was something that a lot of people really dug. They're going to be about all sorts of stuff. A couple that I kind of have planned that I'm going to record at some point. I'm going to do my top 10 N64 games of all time that are my favorite. I'm also going to do top 10 favorite TV shows, my top 10 favorite wrestlers past and present, my top 10 favorite guitars of all time, all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting. And if anyone has a topic that they want to hear on a top 10 done by me, please, by all means, let me know, because I live to entertain you guys. Like I mentioned, the Hangout podcasts are going to be a big part in our future here. definitely look forward to those guys. They're going to be awesome. I'm definitely going to be doing music related podcasts as far as if something big happens in the world of music. I can talk about local bands, maybe do album reviews, things like that. If there's something important that happens in the world of music and it's something I want to talk about, I will definitely talk about it on the podcast. If there's a new album I hear and I think that people need to be aware of it, I'll definitely put it on the podcast. I usually do this is a long ways away, but I usually do my year-end album reviews and so forth, and I'll be doing that in podcast format now. So I know that is like 10 months away right now, but I'm thinking of the future here, guys, okay? I'm thinking up to episode 100 right now, okay? I am planned right now up to episode 30. Just to give you guys a little tidbit there. I have no plans of slowing down at all. There's definitely going to be a lot of more wrestling talk happening on the Twitter. I seem to be gathering quite a little good following of wrestling fans and so forth that I tweet with. So that's something definitely to look forward to in the future, especially if you are a wrestling fan. I'll be talking about something that happens in the world of wrestling. I will definitely be doing pay-per-view reviews. So definitely once a month, you can expect there to be wrestling pay-per-view reactions and predictions as well. And most likely they will be continue to be done with myself, Brandon, and Ryan. Just because I love talking wrestling with those guys. It's fun for me. I'm also going to be doing some gear talks coming up in the future. Talking about things like some of the guitars I've had in the past, talking about my rig I currently have, my dream rig, things like that. Even talk about the stuff I used to record the podcast, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people find that interesting. A lot of people ask me what I used to record this. So I'm going to talk about it definitely in the future. Obviously, having worked at a music store and having my own guitar restringing and setup service, people ask me gear-related and guitar-related questions all the time. So I'm definitely going to have a few episodes where I talk about that in the future. As far as anything else, a lot of people ask me, what is your podcast about? And I talk about music and wrestling and, all sorts of crap like that. But when I say my podcast is about life, what I'm referring to is, say, like, if something interesting happens at work, like my podcast about that 15-hour shift at work. Some people didn't really care or understand, but the people who did really enjoyed it. They thought it was funny. The people who work 15-hour shifts and things like that regularly got a kick out of it. So things like that, if something big happens in my life, you'll definitely hear about it. I'm not really a person that likes to hide anything. I'm pretty open. So things like that are really what you can expect. Now, something I need to address is the schedule for the show going forward. And that is something I need to adjust just real quick here. Just as I'm kind of getting ready to wrap this up here, my milestone episode. I didn't really know what I was going to do for this episode. I just kind of jotted down some things I wanted to talk about and give my thank yous to people and talk about what you guys can expect in future episodes. Addressing the schedule. As of right now, I am doing a Thursday and Sunday release date for the episodes. I'm probably going to keep up with that. A lot of podcasts do Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if I find that the Sundays get a little weird, I might change over to Tuesday. But my main reasoning for doing the Sunday is mainly because of my work schedule. So sometimes releasing a podcast on Tuesday can be a little tricky. I don't always have time to record podcasts on the weekends. I usually do it during the week on a night or something like that. So for me to have to record and edit and stuff on the weekend might be a little weird, but we'll see what happens. I don't want to record things too far in advance. I'm recording this episode right now, and this episode 10 is for Thursday, and I'm recording it right now on Wednesday. So only a day in advance. I don't always do them the same day. Some of them I do if I have time to record it and edit it. If there's any suggestions anyone has for scheduling as well, I'll definitely hear it. If there's a day you guys would rather see me release the show, definitely let me know. Shoot me a message. Find me on Facebook. You can comment right now. Say, TJ, I don't like the way you're releasing them. You should do it this way. Do it right now. I'll wait. All right, cool. Thank you. Every once in a blue moon, you guys might see me pop up with a third episode sometime either in between. Mostly it's probably going to be on Mondays, and the reason for that is if there's a WWE pay-per-view, my reaction episode will most likely always be released on Mondays. If for some weird reason I don't get time to do it Monday or Sunday evening after the pay-per-view, then it'll be on Tuesday. And if something really big happens in the world, or if there's a special day or something, I might do like an episode strictly about that real quick, or do a tribute episode about something, things like. But generally speaking, I'm going to stick with the 2 podcasts a week and see where it goes from there. In the future, I might do 1 podcast a week. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I am still so new at this. It's not even funny. And there are things I learn every single time I do these podcasts. And there are things I learn as I get better with editing, and things like as I get to know more podcasters who have been doing this a whole heck of a lot longer than I have been. Some of them give me tips and things like that, and it's always so greatly appreciated. So hopefully things will only get better from here. A couple things that I actually kind of wanted to ask you guys to see if you'd be interested in seeing me do some things in the future. I've been thinking about possibly doing some live casts once in a blue moon. I wouldn't do it all the time, but a live cast really is just an interactive cast. So instead of me pre-recording it, things like that, I would do it like say on Twitch, where, I can be doing something on video and recording, and then you guys can comment, and I can talk to you guys, that kind of thing. If that's something you guys would be interested in, definitely let me know in the comments. Let me know on Facebook, Twitter, anything like that. Just let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing that. Another thing I've been kind of mulling around in the old noggin is possibly releasing my podcast on YouTube. Now, what I mean by that is I would literally just put up the podcast on YouTube, probably with a picture. Some people have said they would prefer if I had the podcast on YouTube as well, just strictly because it's more convenient for them. SoundCloud is pretty easy. I think a lot of people are kind of scared of SoundCloud. I don't know why. It's such an easy website to use. It's just as easy as YouTube, but I digress. That's something I have been thinking about. Even people have said, why don't you just record yourself, recording the podcast and then put it up on YouTube? So I've been thinking about things like that. We'll see what happens. But if that's something you guys would like to see, definitely let me know. As like I say, at the end of the day, I do this podcast for me so I can entertain you guys, if that makes any sense. This is a medium for me to talk about whatever I want, to get things off my chest, get things off my brain, but also it is a way for me to hopefully entertain and help you guys kill some time. If you're sitting at home not doing anything, you're doing some homework, or you're doing your taxes, or you're sitting around playing a video game and you don't want to listen to music, that's what I'm here for. If you're going on a long drive, you want something to do while you're driving, pop on an episode of The Hotter Show. That's what I am here for. So with that, I'm going to sign off here, guys. Thank you all so much again for helping me hit this big milestone of episode 10. I promise I'm not going to do this every 10 episodes. This is the only time I'm going to do this until I get to bigger episodes. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Hopefully some insights into what I'm going to be doing in the future is maybe helping hype the podcast a little bit. And like I say, if there's anything you guys want to hear me talk about, let me know. I try to interact with you guys as much as possible. I try to be as active on social media as possible. My goal with the social media is let people know what's going on, but not being annoying about it. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing worse than seeing a page post 6 or 7 things a day about the same thing, okay? That's annoying. If you guys have not been informed of my social medias, you can find me on Facebook. Just search for The Hotter Show. You can find me on Twitter at The Hotter Show. You can also find me on Instagram at The Hotter Show. And of course, you can always email me anytime with anything at all that you guys want to talk about. Anything, comments, suggestions, show ideas. You want to be on the podcast, you shoot me an email. And that email is thehottershow, all one word, at gmail.com. So that's it for me, guys. I'm going to go have some cake or something because The Hotter Show just turned 10. Thank you guys so much once again for hitting that play button. I appreciate all of you, and I will catch you guys next time on The Hotter Show.